So off camera, I'll continue my rant on camera here. Welcome in, everybody. If you're watching this live or watching it later, Topps Chrome Football released today. There are some EQLs that you can get into. Hey, Terry, you can get the EQL. There was some on Fanatics. There's one on Topps, which ends in like 2 minutes.
I think they're all expired.
And so I've got myself in an EQL. I haven't heard if I got any yet, but I'll be honest with you. I don't want the product. I don't like the product. It's a weak, watered down product. And when I saw what they're going for on the on the secondary market, that's why I got into the EQLs. I want to flip the box.
Yeah.
$3.99 for a hobby box. They're selling for $1,000 on eBay. The jumbo boxes are selling for $1,900 on eBay. That's insanity. A friend of mine just messaged me. He stopped at our local LCS and bought a hobby box at $1,000 this morning. I told him he was insane. And now he's wondering what he can do, what can Dr. Crack do to pull magic out of his crappy box to break him even? And I'm like, dude, cut your losses, man. Just sell the 4 cards that you think are gradable, sell them, get $200, $300, $400 back, count yourself lucky, $600, $700 educational loss, whatever it is, and don't buy another box. I told my mom, I can't pull magic out of my hat. I just can't do it.
So I don't know
what in the world you would buy. I was telling Bo before we came on camera, if this product released at $200 a box, I wouldn't buy it and rip it. I don't think there's enough value in this class at $200 a hobby box, let alone $400 or $1,000. Oh my God.
Yeah, I entered the EQL.
It's selling for more than basketball right now, and the basketball class is absolutely loaded. It's crazy.
Yeah, I entered the EQL for myself, and then I got to talk my mom into entering it too, and I said it's just free money. If you hit, it's free money, because we would basically flip it immediately. I mean, I think those prices will end up dropping later, I would think. But maybe not. We're not even, when August comes around and football is at the hottest of the year, those things might even be more. Who knows?
Yeah, I would predict, as soft as this class is, after everybody loses their money, it would not shock me if 6 months from now the hobby boxes were selling for $299 and people were just happy to give them away to get rid of them. $400 a hobby box and $1,000 on the secondary market. What are you hoping to get? Scatabo, Dart,
Genty's my favorite.
Genty maybe. You're hoping to hit an auto. What is there? One auto per hobby box?
Yeah.
There's 200 names on the auto checklist. I mean, wow.
They got weird new case hits. Some of them look kind of cool, but they're nothing that you can even remember the name of. It's like in Japanese or something.
Listen, I love Topps Chrome. I love their product. I think they've got great inserts. I love Topps Chrome. Love it. Absolutely love it. I'm not ripping on Topps as a company. I'm not ripping on Topps or this product. I'm just saying this class is not very deep. I mean, it's very top heavy. You got 2 or 3 big names, and then you got, 4 or 5 guys that maybe they might turn out whatever. It's just not a deep class to go out and spend that kind of money. If I'm going to spend $1,000 on a box, I've got so many other boxes that are on my wish list that I could go buy for $1,000. It's just crazy. For $1,400, give me a case of Skybox Dominion 2000 football. Let me go chase a Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Golly, $1,000 for a hobby box. Just mind-boggling. The market is so hot. So let's give Topps and Fanatics credit where credit is due. They said they were going to 10x the hobby. I think they've more than 10x the hobby in terms of sales volume and people that are involved in it. But I think that they're shrinking the collector hobby, if that makes sense. So the retail hobby, the flippers, the people that are buying into the occasional break, I think they've more than 10x the hobby already. But I think that the actual collector base is probably shrinking. I myself find myself collecting a lot less than I did a year ago. Just simply, I mean, if it wasn't for this show, Terry's saying 10x the cost. Because of the demand in the market, we're seeing a rise. It's like 2021 during pandemic, 2020, 2021, the pandemic, and prices went nuts. This is a more slow, natural rise. So I think it's more sustainable, but I don't know. It's taking all the fun out of it for me. I'll be honest with you. If it wasn't for this show, to where I felt like I needed to keep coming on every couple weeks and talking about plays and trying to help some people that have become good friends of mine make money and flipping cards, I would draw way back from card. I mean, I wouldn't get out of cards, but I would spend a whole lot less time right now than what I'm doing. It's a lot less fun for me now than it was a year or 2 years ago. It's a lot more PSA, the turnaround times are slower for grading. Yeah. Costs are way up. I made really good income on it last year for a secondary income. That's probably the other reason I'm doing. But I mean, honestly, Bo, I'm probably more a flipper right now than I am a collector. And that I'm almost ashamed to say it, but I'm really only doing this anymore for a secondary income because to collect the cards, the ones I want are getting so dang expensive. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I keep trying to decide. I have one PSA 10 Wemby silver, and I'm like, do I want to sell that this year or keep it in the safe? And I've got 3 other PSA 10 Wembys, but they're not silvers. And I'm just like, I think I'm going to keep it and have just a small collection. But most of the stuff I do is flipping. 90% of what I'm doing, or 95% is flipping.
Yeah. So it's no secret for those of you that have never seen me before. I'll talk to you about it again. What I like to do and flip when I started Flip for Profit, flip your PC, flip for PC, whatever. Flip to fund your PC is kind of what I coined a couple of years ago. I try to, if it's a card that I want to keep, I make multiple plays of it. Like the Wemby Silver, for example. I bought and sold 5 of them last year. I have 3 left now. One of them's in my PC. The other 2 I'm going to flip in the next week or 2 with the playoffs. But I like to make multiples of the play. So if I want a Wemby Silver, I'm going to go buy 3 to 5 of them, and I'm going to hopefully flip and make enough money. My goal is to flip to where I can get one PSA 10 of the card, the play that I'm making. I want 110 that I have nothing in. And if I can make some money besides, great. But if I can't, I want to break even on my play and have 1 card for free. That's how I've funded my PC. And that's how my PC has gotten so large over the years. I don't think I have a single card in my PC that I've actually paid money for. Everything there is free. It's all money that I've earned from flipping cards to get what I have, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I really think that is the way to do it. I think that that's the way you can grow. If 2 years ago I introduced to a couple of fellows that still have another show, a formula, if you will. They talk about a formula all the time. I introduced them to a formula. The formula worked best a couple of years ago when you would do, say, 10 cards. I would come on and I would talk about plays of making 10 or 20 of the same play for a bulk play. And you would do it all of the same card. And you could make $300,000 per 20 card play, depending upon what it was. And I would take one of those cards, throw it in my PC, and then sell the rest, make the money, flip it, and reinvest in another play. That was kind of what I did for, I don't know, 8 or 10 years. I still do that occasionally, but now it's become a little bit more fun for me I'm doing a 20 card bulk play with usually 8 to 12 different cards. I have multiples, but I'm not doing a 10 or a 20 card play of the same player very often.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just evolved a little bit, but I still try to do multiples if I want that player in my PC.
Yeah. I have bad luck when I submit several of the same card, it seems to me. Unless it's like a Topps Now order, where I'm getting 90% 10s. But like if I send in 5 Wimby refractors from this year's Topps Chrome, I don't think the QC is all that great on that anyway. But I feel like I'm only going to get 1 or 2 at most. They see 5 of them and they're like, okay, this one's the best. We'll give them a 10 on that one.
A lot of people say that. I don't have that experience, so I always tell people I don't buy into it. I don't buy into population control. I don't buy into you can't. I will sometimes break up. If I've got 20 cards, I might do 10 in one order and 10 in the other order, just not because I believe that they won't give all 10s, but just simply because you might get 2 different graders. One's in a good mood, one's in a bad mood. One's a new grader, one's a veteran grader. You could end up with different grades. That's the only reason I do it. But if I get a grader that is, let's just say they're a seasoned grader that agrees with my opinions on what I'm sending in. I've sent 10 of one card and I've had 10 10s. Non Topps Now cards, like just actual cards. The most recent one I can think of that I did that with was the Cooper Flags. I sent 10 base Cooper Flag cards in, all in one order, and got 8 out of 10 10s.
Nice.
That was back in November, December, whatever it was. So I think if the card is good and the grader is good, you'll do just fine. Where it's good to break them up is you get a card that really ought to be a 10 and the guy's giving you 9s. If you break that up and you give it to another grader and then you get a 10, that's where I think it's good to break up. But I really don't buy into pop control. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just can't get behind that type of thinking. I don't think there's anybody at PSA going, oh, this is Bo's cards, we got to give him a 10. Oh, this is Terry's cards, we're going to give him a 9.
Yeah.
I just can't. I believe that the graders are going through the cards so fast. From what I understand, they spend less than 60 seconds on each card.
Yeah.
They're just blowing through. I mean, they graded 2 million cards last month. They're blowing through the cards so fast. I think the new graders sit there and when in doubt, give it a 9. And the veteran graders might be like, you know what? I'm going to give that a 10. I think, I don't know that for fact. I just think that makes sense that the veteran guys aren't as worried about what their grade sheet at the end of the month, what percentage of gems they're giving, because they've been doing it long enough. And the new guys are waiting for their report card to come back out and their boss or their mentor or whatever going, Bo, this is your first month doing it, and you gave out 62% gem rate. Our average as a team is 52%. What are you doing wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
That kind of reminds me of my teaching career.
I don't think they're grading on a curve. I really don't. So Terry just had an order of 11 pop and got all 10s. So, that's what I'm saying. I really think it depends more on the grader than it does on the card. And I'm not buying into pop control, but I do think it is the grader more than it is the card. I think you could have the same card, the same exact card, get graded by 5 different graders and potentially end up with 2, maybe 3 different grades. I associate that very similar. And the reason I say that is I'm in the car business, right? For most of you know that what I do for a living is I'm in the car business. I run a dealership. I'm a general manager at a store here in Fond du Lac. And you can take a car, so let's say Bo is trading in what do you drive, Bo? A Chevy Tahoe.
Wrangler.
A Jeep Wrangler. All right. So Bo's trading in a Jeep Wrangler, and there's books, there's values, there's 4 or 5 different books that you can look at online. There's auction prices. There's all these guides, right? We have market movers. We have Card Ladder. I think the cars and the cards are very similar. The appraiser, if you will, looks at a car, somebody's trade in, and he values the trade based on what his opinion is, right? We run into it all the time where the customer says, well, I was just at ABC Motors and they're $500 more than you. The difference is how it's interpreted, right? So when these graders are looking at these cards, if you had this, if you had 5 different graders blindly grade the same card, I don't think you're going to get 5 of the same grades. I really don't. When we have 3 or 4 different appraisers look at a car, oftentimes prices on a trade-in can range $500 to $2,000 difference from one grader to the next, or appraiser to the next. And we're looking at the same information. We're looking at the same vehicle. We just have different opinions. And I think that's the way grading is. What maker of car? Terry, I'm in charge of a budget center for a dealer. We're the largest dealership in Wisconsin, volume wise anyways. And we have Chevy, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, Ford, and Mazda, if that answers your question. So anyways, and I run a budget center, so I'm looking at we have all makes and models. Anybody, we don't say, well, we don't take that in on trade. I've literally every make and model that there is. I think I've taken something in on trade or appraised it. So I've seen it all, done it all, been around in the car business for 40 plus years. I've been doing cars longer than I've been doing cards. But it's pretty close. I've been doing cars about 3 years more than I've been doing cards, if that makes sense. Make money on both. That's what I do. I buy and sell stuff for a living. That's how I make money. I have 2 income sources. I have cars, my job, and then I have cards, my hobby, and that's where my income source comes from. You got anything to share with us today, Bo? Anything new, exciting? Taking any good pictures? Any cool people that you met?
Well, I've been doing my normal photography, all sports stuff. I did photograph the last spring game. The college soccer, they typically have like a short spring season. I think it's just to make sure that they're all still in shape and they understand the plays. And then they there was new freshmen that I never had seen before that were in some of the last games. My big selling news is, those 2 PSA 10 Slam magazines that I had.
Yeah, that you went to Golden with?
Yeah, I shipped them to Golden yesterday.
Okay.
I went to the Golden website and I already had an account with them. So I put in pictures and I said, I've got the AZ Fudd and the AJ DeBonsa, my little thing that I'm writing. I'm like, we probably ought to try to sell the Fudd right away. Because, as soon as it gets there, she's already the number 1 pick. And I think you're probably better off selling it before the season starts,
Yeah, for sure.
And then maybe hold the DeBonsa for June when we have the NBA draft going on. And the guy replied back the next day. He's like, sounds great. I signed the contract and boxed him up, put a signature, they even got a cool thing where as soon as they sign for it, I get a text that says they got it. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how quickly the AZ FUD gets put up. Not a lot of these Slam Magazine PSA 10s have there's not a lot of data because, they've only had them for a few months. I saw the Jalen Brunson, there was 2, and that wasn't like his first appearance. It's kind of like the rookie card. They want their first magazine cover is the most valuable. And I think that's the first AZ FUD. Now there might be something else, but it's the first of like a sports magazine. And it's definitely the first of the Bonsa. But the Brunsons were sold for $1,500 each. There was 2 of them. And I would think that these would do better than that. But we'll see. We'll see. And those were on eBay. Those weren't on Golden. And in Golden, you can really luck out and make it could be hit or miss. But the time that I used Golden before was life-changing. So I'm excited about it. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you know whenever it's actually listed.
Yeah, once they're listed live, we'll have to watch it, and maybe we'll have to time a show. We can do a Golden reveal. Maybe we'll do a live show as it counts down to watch your reaction to what it brings.
They do where they add time. So if
I know that, but I mean, if it's like going to be on I don't know what night it'll end, but we'll have to find out what night it ends, and we can log on and do a live show with a kind of a Golden reveal, sale reveal with Bo live watching his reactions to
hopefully it's not embarrassing.
Coveted magazine. He'll either be in tears with a rag or he'll be in excitement, joy mode.
On the Ty Cobb that I sold a couple years ago, the auction kept getting extended over and over, and it went like 3 hours past scheduled time. It was great. I mean, it was like the most exciting night I've had in years. I'll tell you. Other than that, I've been stacking up, the X-Fractors. I'm getting ready to. I've got a Wemby and a Dylan Harper still coming in the mail, but I've already got, I already mailed off the Cooper flag. So we're doing this with my mom's account. I heard you're only supposed to do it once per account. So I'm not sure if that's true or not, but we're going to be careful. I'm just going to use my mom's account, but I got the Nipple, the LeBron. I still think Yang Hansen might end up being somebody. And these were like $1.50 each. So I got 4 of them. The Derek Queen, I got a couple of him, and Cedric Coward and Ace Bailey, and then VJ, and I got another Dylan Harper coming. So those are all going to go get mailed off. And my Cooper flag ought to be coming back pretty soon. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think that if it looks nice, I'm going to grade it. If it doesn't, I'm going to sell it immediately. I think that's probably my plan.
Nice. I've got a buddy of mine that mailed in a Cooper flag on that exchange, and he did not get a Cooper flag back. So he's in the process now of talking to Topps, like, hey, what happened? It's supposed to be a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
So he's freaking out right now, thinking that Topps screwed him on that. So it's still up in the air. I'll update everybody when I find out what happens with him. But right now, he ended up he got a Jeremiah Fears back instead of his Cooper that he sent in.
That's not good.
So he's freaking out right now. Any WNBA plays? Bo's asking, or Terry's asking Bo for some WNBA plays.
I did really well on draft night, except I was disappointed in my Lauren Betts. She did not sell that well. I mean, I made money on it, but I expected better. My AZ FUD sold great. I had like the Prism one, and then there was this other one that I had the only 10s in the world. And I paid like $15 for the cards and selling them for like $200. I mean, it's pretty good. Olivia Miles, I did real well. I only had one, but it was a PSA 10 auto. I did great with pretty much everybody that I had, except the Lauren Betts was kind of a disappointment. I'm trying to decide what I want to do with these draft night cards, and I'm kind of looking at what happened last year. Like everybody and their dog bought a 25 pack of Paige Beckers, and there's just millions of them, and they're like $30 for a PSA 10. And during the season last year, when like Sonia Citron was playing great, those got up to like 80, $90 because hardly anybody bought them, hardly anybody graded them. Like hers, and then Kiki Iriafan was selling well, but even the prices on those right now are down a lot. Like I've got like 6 of the Dominique Malongos, and I have a feeling that she's going to end up being one of the best players in the league. I really think she's going to be, and they're going for like 40 or $50. So I'm like, do I even want to buy any of this? Because I mean, if I buy anything at all, I got to get the Flau'jae Johnson, just because she's already like a celebrity on top of it, and she does no cards hardly at all, other than like that high school cards and the Sports Illustrated for kids card, which I graded one of those and I got a 9 on it, and I've never got anything that high on a Sports Illustrated for kids card of a grade. I put $100 on it, nobody bought it, but I'll just keep the damn thing, But I really like Flau'jae. I think that team, because that 19-year-old girl that got picked second, Awa Pham, I think that her and Malonga and Flau'jae, that team sounds like in a few years they're going to be dangerous, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a bunch of people messaging me asking me if I was going to buy the draft night cards, and my response was no. I had no interest in doing it. Here's my thought process on it. The reason I didn't touch this draft class is because you don't have the superstar. Caitlin Clark worked out really well. Paige worked out really well. I don't think there's a clear-cut number one. I think the only reason Fudd got drafted is because they're trying to put fans in the stands. I think if they would have cared about winning more than selling tickets, they would have drafted Pham instead of Fudd. But obviously they wanted the connection. They wanted to keep Beckers happy. So they drafted what Paige wanted, and they drafted what the fan base wanted to see. But I don't think that makes them as competitive. And I don't think Fudd's going to be a superstar.
I'm agreeing with you.
Might be a hot take, but I wouldn't have drafted Fudd in the top 5 players in this draft, in my opinion. I think there's at least 5 players better than her.
I think if any of them turn out to be a superstar quick, it's probably Olivia Miles.
Yeah, Miles is one of the better ones. I still think Lauren Betts was the best player in the draft. That Awa Pham is probably going to end up being long-term the best player in the draft. She's a little bit raw, but she's probably the best talent, Fudd's a nice player, but she's a complementary player. She's not a superstar, not an all-star. She's just a complimentary player. You saw what happened in the NCAA tournament. She disappeared, man.
Yeah.
Like when they needed something, the game that they got eliminated, would she have 6 points or 8? I mean, she disappeared. I mean, they shut her down, and there was nothing they could do about it.
Yeah.
But now next year, I'm probably I'll be buying a lot of next year's players, because next year's class could be the best WNBA class ever.
Yeah. Juju, Hidalgo.
Yeah. Madison, I mean, they're very, very deep.
Madison Booker.
Yep. Going to be a very deep class next year. So and you've got the high profileness of the top player, So I think next year could be big, but this year I stayed away from the draft nights. I was interested in the autos, but they went so fast. By the time I even realized that they had them up, they were already sold of the players I wanted. So
I was real stupid. They asked me if I'd shoot high school baseball that night, and I said, sure. And then I was like, oh, crap, that's when the draft is on. So I'm sitting there shooting high school baseball, and I missed everything, man. I missed all of it. It was a boring game, too, so I was really mad.
Oh, man. All right. Well, what we got for plays today is soccer. We promised a couple weeks ago that we would do some soccer plays in enough time that you'd have time to buy them, grade them, and hopefully get them back in time for World Cup. So that's what we're doing today. I have 9 plays. 8 of them are World Cup plays. One is just because I think she's the best female soccer player in the world, and she's investable. I've already given Bo messaged me a week or so ago as he was heading to a show, and he said, "Who are you buying for soccer?" These are the same players that I gave Bo for the list. The difference is I gave Bo just a list of players, not specific cards. Here is the list of specific cards. What I think is the best return on investment card for each player I'm going to mention. There's multiple plays you can make. There are many ways you can make money on these players. This is the exact play that I am making. I always tell everybody, if I'm gonna tout it, I'm gonna do it. These are plays that I am making, my personal plays. I think that they are the best, safest plays to make. So without further ado, let's start with some plays.
There's 2 of them that I'm really curious about.
All right. Well, let's see what happens here. All right. So first up, Kylian Mbappe. The card I chose for him is the 2018 Prism World Cup, the base, not the silver, the base card. This card is last sale $30, $30.75 actually. There have been 10 sales in the last 30 days. The average is $32. As you can see, it goes up and down a little bit, but you should be able to get in that $30 to $40 range pretty easily, get one of these cards. The only thing I did not do for today's show, because I ran out of time this week, I did not get gem rates for everybody. So I apologize. You'll have to look up your own gem rates. But PSA 9 sells for $60. The PSA 10 sells for $260. The 30-day average on a PSA 9 is $52. The PSA 10 average is $215. So this card has been a good play and one that can make money for several months. So I think that that is the best Kylian Mbappe card to go after. World Cup cards always sell well during the World Cup, if that makes sense.
France is the #1 ranked team right now in the world. So there you go. I mean, I'm going for Spain, but they got France listed #1 right now.
Next up, 2019 Topps Chrome Bundesliga, Erling Haaland. This is his rookie card. Last sale, $36. Only 2 sales in the last 30 days. 30-day average is $42. As you can see, one sold for $47 and one sold for $36. So you got a $42 average. PSA 9 is in this card is $120. So buying a card for $36, getting a 9, you're making a profit. PSA 10 is $320. So you are, let's just say you go on the high side and you find a nice copy, you spend $50 with grading fees, you got $30. So you got $80 invested in this card. $120 on a PSA 9 to make $30 on a 9 or to quadruple your money on a 10. I really like this play a lot. I have full disclosure. I have 5 of these right now coming. I have not sent them to PSA. They should be here any day, but I have bought 5 of these to make this play because I think this is one of the better plays that are out there right now.
Haaland is like the sleeper pick too for all that. They haven't made the World Cup in a long time, and Haaland's been on fire with Haaland, and so they could upset some. They could go far.
All right. Next up, we've got Cristiano Ronaldo. So 2017, I did not go with his World Cup card because this one has a better spread, if you will. Of all the Ronaldo cards to get, this one here made the most sense to me. It's the Topps Chrome UEFA Champions League 93. It's the base card, most recent sale, $45. 6 sales in the last 30 days. I'm sorry, in the last 60 days. I had to go out a little bit longer because I wanted to get more than 2. So I went 60 days on this. So there's 6 sales in 60 days. $35 is a 60-day average. You are looking at a $92 card in PSA 9, and you're looking at a $200 card in PSA 10. So it is a card that not a lot of risk in this card with a PSA 9 that's going to turn you a small profit. And I anticipate all of these plays will go up between now and the end of July during the World Cup. I think all of these are going to climb a little bit, so that should help as well.
These are all guys that are probably going to make it into the knockout rounds, and when there's prime time television too.
Next is a very inexpensive but difficult to grade because stickers are always harder to grade than cards. But 2008 Luka Modric. This is his Euro sticker card. It's his rookie sticker. They're only $3 a piece. The last sale was $3. A lot of the other ones are up in that $8 to $10 range, but the 30-day average is roughly $6.50. I would expect to spend $8 to $10 for a nice one of these because you want to make sure that you're getting the best available because stickers do grade harder than cards. So I gave out PSA 8. So I went a little bit lower here just to temper my expectations. And 8 is $44. So you're going to break even on a PSA 8. PSA 9 is $58. So you're going to turn a $10 profit on a 9. PSA 10 is $155. So that is where you really start making money. I think he's a player that's a little bit underlooked. He's, in my opinion, he's arguably one of the top 10 players in the world in terms of soccer. But
yeah, I was curious about him when I got your message. I see him play in the Premier League, or in the Spanish league. I think he plays for Real Madrid, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about Croatia, what their rank is or anything, but he's the leader of the Croatian team, basically. I was kind of curious when I saw he's one of the guys you mentioned that I have nothing of at all.
Yeah, he's a star. You'll hear more about him as World Cup rolls around, I predict.
Yeah.
This is this is the most expensive play to make. This is, of course, Lamine Yamal. Of all the cards that you can go after, this is the one that has the best return on investment. Most recent sales, $144. It's the Mega Cracks La Liga EA Sports card number 423, Master Rookie card. 10 sales in the last 30 days, $139 is average. So right around that 150 mark is what you're going to be paying for this card in raw condition. $380 is a PSA 9. So you don't get too many cards where you can buy a card for $150 and double your money in a PSA 9. In a PSA 8, you're even making $30 as the PSA 8 sells for $205. So there's money to be made in an 8. There's a lot of money to be made on a 9. And there's a ton of money to be made if you could get one of the 10s. It's $2,000 is the most recent sale for a PSA 10. So, almost a 10x of your investment if you can hit a 10. These are very sensitive, a lot of the edges. So really look at the edge wear in the corners because they're dark edges all the way around the front and back, which makes it a harder PSA 10. But that card has the best return on investment of anything here that I'm going to share with you guys. Christian Pulisic. He is going to be one of the leaders of the American team. I think I think the time to buy him is now. His time could be running out if he does not. If he and the American team do not produce well and go deep in this World Cup, I don't think you're going to hear much about Pulisic moving forward, and his market could drop drastically. Just a prediction, but if he does well on American soil, you could see his cards really soar here if he does well. I did not pick his rookie card for a couple of different reasons. This card here I thought had the better return on investment. This is a 2024 Prism Copa America Auto. It's the International Ink card from 2024. Easier to come by, easier to grade. $55 is the last sale. 30-day average is $70. I think you got to pay $75 to $80 to get a nice copy. That last one that sold for $55, I don't know if his market is just dropping or if that was a case where maybe the card was off-centered or the auto didn't look great. I would expect to spend closer to $75 to get that card. Now, a PSA 8 sells for $90, so you're going to break even on an 8. PSA 9 is $150, so a nice double up of your money on a PSA 9 and $240 in a PSA 10. Achievable card, achievable grades, a card that might be a nice thing to have a Pulisic auto in your stash for this World Cup if you believe in the Americans at all.
They've only won one game in the knockout rounds ever.
Yeah. I know. So it's do or die for the American soccer team this year. I think you're going to see, if they don't do well and make a deep run in this one, you're going to see them turn over. That national team is going to become really young really quick.
Yeah.
My opinion. Next up is not for World Cup. It's just because she's the best female soccer player on the planet, in my opinion. She's got the name recognition as Dennis Rodman's daughter. It's Trinity Rodman. And I also did not go with a rookie card for her, although there are some nice 2021 and NWSL Parkside cards. I went with her 2022 Obsidian number 8 black color blast. Super cool card. I bought 2 of these recently. They just look really great in hand. It's a very, very nice looking card. $145 is the last sale. The 1 year average, because this card doesn't sell very often online. I got both of my purchases at a card show. I haven't been able to get them online. They don't show up a lot online, but they're available. You can just got to look for them. $138 is the 1 year average. So full disclosure, I paid $175 for one of them and I paid $135 for the other. I got them from 2 different people at a card show. PSA 9 is $260. So I'm going to turn a small profit if I can get a 9. And a PSA 10 is $350. My hopes and goals are that I can gem both of them, throw one of them in the safe, and sell the other one. That's my plan. I do have a very, very nice Trinity Rodman rookie PSA 10 right now in my Fanatics Collect account that I bought with the intentions of flipping this summer. I'm already up about 3x on that card from when I bought it. So that card will probably get flipped this summer as well. But her cards move really easily. You don't have to worry about buying a female soccer card and not having liquidity with Trinity Rodman. Her stuff is very liquid.
And they're in the World Cup next summer too, if you want to hold it for a year and maybe do better.
Yep. Yeah, that's a possibility too.
Yeah.
All right. Vinny Jr. Vinicius Jr. Was super hot. I mean, I'm talking, he might have been the hottest player in soccer, probably back around 2020. When he broke onto the scene, he was the hot and up and coming thing. Then he kind of disappeared for a couple of years, 2022, 2023, even 2024. His cards got really, really cheap. He disappeared. You didn't hear much about him. In the last year, he's been making waves. He's making a comeback. He's becoming relevant again. And you're going to see his relevance in the World Cup. I think you're going to see a lot of hype around Vinny Jr. in the World Cup. So the card I selected of him is his Optic Hollow. This is the only play where you're going to lose money on a PSA 9. So proceed with caution. But anyways, Optic Hollow, $11.50. Most recent sale, 30-day average is $14.50. So $10 to $15 is where you're going to be on to get a nice 2018 Optic Hollow. I was torn between the Optic Hollow and the red press proof. Excuse me. The red press proof, I have two of each of these. I have two hollows and two red press proofs coming. So it's very close as to which is the better. I went with the hollow for this demonstration. A PSA 9, you're going to lose money. $26. The cost of grading is all a PSA 9 does. So you're going to be out your shipping and you're going to be out what you paid for the card. So proceed with caution. Try and buy a nice copy. However, if you get a PSA 10, it jumps up to $264. So I ran the math. On this here, you would need one PSA 10 for every 5 PSA 9s to wash. If you spend $15 a card and you send them in bulk, 110 for 5 9s washes. So I'm hoping to do a 5-card play here and get a 10 out of it. That's my hopes and goals. That's what I'm trying. If I get 2 10s, I'll be ecstatic. Got to get at least 1 10. All right. Now, I didn't let's see here. Do I have one more play left before I get into my last things? I do. Oh, how could I forget Lionel Messi? All right. So I did not. I was torn again between picking one of his either the 14 or 18 World Cup cards. But when I started looking at the profit margins, this is my favorite play to make of all the ones I shared with you. I just last night bought one of these. I'm hoping to buy multiples, but this is my favorite play out of all these that I just shared with you. It's a 16 select. It's the Terrace silver version parallel. Most recent sale, $20. The 30-day average is $25. One sold for $30, one sold for $20. So you got a $30, $25 average. I bought one last night as I was going through it. I bought it from ComC. So I don't know if that's going to show up on Market Movers or not. I've never bought a card on ComC before that I wanted to grade. I've only bought ComC to flip on ComC. I bought it and I'm having them send it to me because I want to have it graded in my bulk grading. PSA 9. So you're going to spend $20 to $30. PSA 9 is $90. So you're going to pick up $25 to $30 on a PSA 9. PSA 10, PSA 10 is $300. So that's where you're going to really get a sweet spot in a nice pickup. You get a 5x of your money on a PSA 10. The centering looked perfect. The zoomed in on it, everything looked good. Did not appear to be scratches. Bought it from a guy that was not grading cards, so I'm hoping that I got a good one coming. But I really like that play because I think this is probably going to be Messi's last World Cup. I don't think that'll surprise anybody. It's his last World Cup, so therefore, with him now being part of domestic soccer. In Miami, I think he's going to have more hype and more talking about him than any other player. That shouldn't surprise anybody. So I want Messi cards. I've got 5 Messi cards already graded, sitting there waiting to sell, and I'm going to make some more Messi plays. This is a play I'm going to try and make. I'd like to get 2 or 3 of these before I send in. And so 2 weeks from today is the day I figure the last day I can send in soccer cards and still realistically make sure that they're back in time for World Cup. You got to have them sent in within 2 weeks. I've been getting about a 65 actual day turnaround by doing my bulk grays. So that's where I'm thinking and figuring.
That'd be throwing in a more expensive card along with it too, right?
Right. That's with me sending one in at regular value to get the cards in quicker. Doing the trick. Now, I didn't talk about this, and for those of you that are still watching this video, we haven't made you yawn and go to bed or bored you out of your mind with soccer plays or anything like that. I did a couple of crack and submit. Dr. Crack hasn't talked about any crack plays lately. So for bonus, for those of you that are still hanging on, I've got a couple of bonuses here for you. These are plays that I am currently making. First one here on the chart or on the screen is a 2003 Topps Chrome base. It is not the refractor. 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron James card number 111. This card, I am buying it. I'm finding it and buying it in a BGS 8.5. As you can see, I put on the screen here, you can see I did a 180-day chart for market movers because some of you, it might take you that long to get the card, buy the card, crack the card, submit the card, and get it back. So I wanted to look at a 6-month window here. As you can see, the PSA 9 has held a considerable profit margin over the BGS 8.5 and the PSA 8 for quite some time. It looks like it's about the same trajectory for the last 6 months. So I don't anticipate that changing in the next 6 months. If you can find a BGS 8.5 in the most recent sale is $1,675. A PSA 8, if it drops a half a grade, is $1,695. So you're out a couple of bucks, but you're not out terribly if it drops a half a grade. However, if it gets that half a grade bump up, you're going from $1,675 to $2,389. So you've got yourself a nice $700, $600 after fees, probably a nice $600 profit. So this is a card that I thought, being it's LeBron is always popular. Who doesn't like a good LeBron rookie card? I thought that was one that I could share with you guys. Now, the other one is also, I got another LeBron. This is the paper version. So same play, same player, same year, but this is the paper version. This is card number 221. This is the LeBron holding up the jersey. You buy this card in a BGS 8.5 for $423. If it drops a half a grade to a PSA 8, it's $414. So you're essentially out your grading fees and whatever sale fees you would have if you sold on eBay or in person or at a show, whatever. However, if it bumps up to a half a grade to a PSA 9, you are looking at a little over about a $250 to $300 bump up there. The reason that I like BGS 8.5s is most of you know I track all of my cracks. I've been doing it for, 15 years. I've been tracking my cracks. My best success rate, my highest percentage rate is going from a BGS 8.5 to a PSA 9. I have a 64% BGS 8.5 to PSA 9 conversion rate. 64%. So that means there's 36% that aren't, but that's a pretty high. You're over 50-50 at a chance of jumping that half grade and picking up a few $100s on either one of these cards. Now, I have one more that I want to share with you, and it is a Patrick Mahomes. His stuff is down a little bit. It might be a time for you to afford. It's a little more expensive play, but this is his Silver Prism rookie card. Doing the same exact thing here, a BGS 8.5, the last sale is $720. PSA 8 is $809. So you're looking at a slight profit on a bump down of a half a grade, but you're looking at almost a $500 profit, about $400 after grading fees and eBay fees after you sell it. You're about a $400 profit. It jumps all the way up to $1,200. So these are plays that I am making. I have one of each of these purchased and on their way to me to be cracked and sent in to see how we do. But those are 3 crack and submit plays that are bonus for any of you hanging around to the end of our video and wanted to do something other than soccer. That is all I have for plays this week. So in 2 weeks, what do you think we should talk about? In 2 weeks will be that'll be the draft, right? Are we going to be doing the NFL draft?
Yeah. I mean, we'll be a little bit past. We'll be like
the 29th, and the draft is on the 20.
A week from tomorrow.
Okay. So maybe what we can talk about in 2 weeks, maybe we can get Eric back on in 2 weeks and we can talk about some NFL draft pick plays, who we like, that who went where and what, who do we think is going to see a nice bump up because of where they went. We might be talking not only about the draft choices, but you might be talking about, say, for example, there's New Orleans has 2 picks in the top half of the first draft or of the first round. If they use either one of those on a prolific running back or wide receiver, you could see, Tyler Shugg could get a bump up, stuff like that. You could see players that are currently there that get bumps because of who they brought in or who they drafted. So let's reach out to Eric and see if he'd like to join us in 2 weeks and we can talk about some NFL football.
I've got all my draft night stuff listed, ready to go. Except I haven't listed my Taylon Green yet. And I'm like having a hard time deciding. I have a funny feeling that he's going to be like the 3rd or 4th quarterback taken just because his athletic ability is through the roof. He's on the John Gruden show tonight, the quarterback talk thing with Gruden.
Yeah.
And I've got like 5 or 6 raw autos of his. And then I have a PSA 10 of a Bowman Best gold. And I haven't figured out exactly what I want to do for my strategy, but I think probably have him end on Sunday night because he's definitely going to get picked before the thing's over. He's probably not getting picked on night 1, but he could on night 2.
Sure.
Potentially somebody's going to say, gosh, this guy, they're all begging him, please be a wide receiver. Yeah. And he's telling them all no. I mean, the dude can jump through the roof, and he's fast as anybody. So, but it's just, he threw a lot of interceptions, but that's SEC defense with a crappy team, but we'll see,
Right. All right. Well, that wraps us up this week. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Let's hit the outro music and away we go.